In the beginning of the film, we are shown the world's largest and most difficult Shaolin school. Shaolin means where children are taught Kung Fu and Karate. Where a boy named Feng was fully prepared for his last competition, in which it will be decided whether he is an expert in Kung Fu and fighting after passing the school or not. For the competition, he then goes to the temple. And the test that was going to be done today was very difficult, because very few people were able to pass it. In the test, Feng had to fight some wooden puppets, which were controlled by some brave warriors. But he was sure that he would somehow pass this test. And as he points out that I am ready, 2 attacks on him are done simultaneously. That is, those wooden puppets move quickly to kill him. But he is on the side and gets away very easily. But the 3rd time is directly on his chest. He does not get a chance to retreat this time. But then he opens his arms and hits his leg hard on the ground, whose strength was so strong that his shirt tears and flies in the air. Also, his body starts to turn golden because it was shining. It felt like there was a cover on his body. Now this Kung Fu technique was copper skin, in which Feng was very skilled. He jumps there and breaks all the puppets by hitting one after the other. All of them were scattered below. Now he was thinking that everything is over. Suddenly all the pieces of the puppets join together. And now he had become a very big puppet, whose front Feng was looking small. Seeing him, Feng understands that he cannot be defeated like before. No matter how much strength I apply, nothing will happen. So he walks and jumps on that puppet and catches all the stars, with which the warriors were controlling him. As soon as this happens, all the warriors fall down. And as soon as their stars are caught, the puppet breaks and scatters in many pieces. And here Feng wins this test and leaves as a great Kung Fu expert. After this, we see an officer who was a big cheater, because he stole a lot of money from the government treasury for his purpose. So much money was the biggest theft ever. But he didn't want anyone to know about it. So he killed his partner, because he was also involved in this theft. And now the officer was looking for the paper in which all the information of this theft was, which was made by the officer's partner, and now he had hidden it somewhere. Their Feng comes to the village and meets his childhood friend. He had another friend whose name was Rong. Now when these two were going to meet Rong, they see a fighter on the way, who was a very tall, brave man, very good at fighting. He is killing a man. To save that man, Feng attacks him. But he was so powerful that he removes Feng with one punch. And he rolls around and falls down hard, with which he understood that this fighter is not an ordinary man. In fact, it is very difficult to defeat him. This fighter actually worked for the officer. Now the fighter came here for this work. Because he didn't do it, he sits on his horse and leaves. Feng also sits on the horse and follows him. And now these people were standing in the middle of the market. Now before he fights, Feng's mother comes here in a very violent way. She takes Feng home by holding his ears, so that he does not get into fights. She beats him first, and she locks him up and forbids him from going out. But Feng was not going to sit comfortably at home. As soon as he gets a chance, he starts running away from here quietly. He was not wearing clothes. That's when he sees his neighbor. She screams when she sees him. Now before Feng asks him, "What are you doing here?" That girl sees a lot of soldiers coming here. She hides immediately. The soldiers come to Feng and ask him, "Yes girl, tell me. Have you seen a girl here?" But Feng hurts the girl to save her life. No, I have not seen anyone." And he tells them the wrong way. The girl comes out and says to Feng, thank you, you saved my life." Then Rong and Feng's friend came here. When Rong sees the two together, she says to Feng's friend in sadness, "Look, this girl is standing with my childhood friend." Which means that there is something between these two. Now the poor girl gets angry and leaves. But Feng also goes behind to make her understand. When Feng's friend was going, a soldier stops him and shows a picture of a man and asks him about him. "Do you know about this man? Where will you get him?" And that picture was of Rong's dad. That's why he hides and refuses that he doesn't know. When she comes home, her friend tells Rong all this. That some soldiers are looking for your dad. On which she says, why? How will they catch my dad like this? As her friend leaves from here, Rong takes out a box, which had the same paper, which had information about the theft. And the officer was looking for it. So here we know that Rong's dad was actually the keeper of this paper. And now he is the only person who can get the officer punished through this paper. This is the reason that the soldiers were looking for him. The next day, Fong comes to Rong's house, where Fong's friend tells her that Rong is not at home. She is missing. And I think the businessman has come to inform her, because the people of Kailash were looking for Rong's dad. After knowing this, Fong immediately goes to find the businessman, who was fighting with the people in the city. Fong comes there in the style of a warrior and asks the businessman, "Tell me, where is my friend Rong?" To which he replies, "How would I know about your friend? You should have kept your friend safe before." Because of this, the fight between the two started. But Fong easily defeated him in his kung fu style. But Fong is wrong when the businessman accepts his defeat with a smile. Says, "Okay, boy, I have given up on you. And now you will be my son-in-law. Because I was looking for a proposal for my daughter. And my condition was that I will marry my son to the same boy, who will defeat me in the fight. And today you did that." This time the businessman was happy. And everyone goes to congratulate him. After hearing this, Fong understands that he really does not know anything about Rong. But if I stay here for a while, then he will force me to marry his son. So he runs away from here quickly. When Fong reaches home, Rong had come back, who says that I had never been kidnapped. In fact, I went on my own. And now you two will not do any drama. I don't want to listen to you. I know it's really your affair. Now they had such a past. Sometimes someone gets angry, sometimes someone. On the way home, the businessman's men surround Fong and the neighboring girl. The businessman comes and asks the girl where my daughter had been missing for so many days. After hearing this, Fong finds out that she is actually the neighbor's daughter. And he was looking for a proposal for her. And he also tells the truth here that my man was looking for Rong's dad. Because the officer had told him to do this. Because the businessman was the officer's man. After hearing this, Fong realizes that Rong's life is in danger. So he immediately goes to save her. But it was too late. Because he had already caught Rong and her dad. The officer's soldier was Rong's dad. He asks for the paper. But when he refuses to give, the soldier says that if you don't give it, I will kill your daughter. But still his dad does not give up. And alone he gets ready to fight him. But soon he realizes that he can't face so many people alone. So he sacrificed himself to save that paper and his daughter's life. He cut his throat with a sword. Then Fong comes here. Before that, he saved Rong's dad. It was too late. Because he was dead. All the soldiers attack him when they see Fong. But as soon as he comes, he starts killing everyone. He was punching someone, stabbing someone, and throwing them away. So the remaining soldiers left Rong's neck with a knife. When the officer finds out that Fong had come as a hurdle in my mission, and my soldiers did not get that paper, then he calls the fighter and orders him to somehow kill Fong and give me that paper. Now the fighter does not like this. But now he has to bow before the officer. Fong gets a letter, on which it was written that come to one place with that paper by night. And if you do not come, we will kill Rong. At night, the paper maker Fong reaches the place mentioned. He easily hands over the paper to the soldier. Everyone was surprised that he gave the paper so easily without fighting. And now as soon as the soldier opens it, he finds out that this paper is fake. With this, the fight between Fong and the fighter begins. In the fight, the fighter's dad puts poison powder on Fong, due to which his powers are reduced by a lot. But the fighter's dad was also very injured. The fighter was concerned about his injured father. So he takes him away from here. And now as soon as the soldier himself goes ahead to kill Feng, then his mom and businessman come here and save him. Feng is bathed with a little bit of water after bringing home, so that the effect of the poison is over. The soldier tells the fighter and his dad that I give you the last chance to save your life. Go and kill Feng. Bring that paper. Otherwise we will kill you. Now there is no way, but the fighter leaves his dad and goes to kill Feng. Feng was completely fine. And now he starts looking at the picture that Roan gave him. He presses the J6 button, the picture opens. And that paper comes out of it. With which people understand that by giving this paper, we will save Roan. But the officer will not be able to get the punishment. Feng then gets the letter from the fighter. That's why he leaves here immediately. When they come face to face, they start fighting. The fighter was threatened by the soldier. That's why he fights with Feng with great strength. But he can't defeat him. But Feng doesn't kill him here, he leaves him alive. The fighter comes home and sees that his dad is dead. Then he starts crying very sad. Their Feng's friend reaches outside the officer's house and says that my friend, leave Roan. In return, I give you that paper. On the spot, the injured Roan is brought. His shirt and clothes were covered with blood, which proves that he has been tortured a lot. As soon as his friend gives the paper, Feng comes in between and kicks him, and stops all this from happening. That's why Feng's mom and businessman came here. And all these people were ready to fight with the officer's companions. And now finally, as soon as the officer comes here, he starts fighting with Feng. The officer was the expert of Kung Fu at the most dangerous level. And today for the first time, Feng realizes that he has clashed with a very powerful man. He hits a powerful punch like Feng. He's so strong, copper skin can't even stand, it breaks. Feng was injured, his mouth starts bleeding. Being weak, the officer throws a piece of a sword at him. That's when Roan comes in front. The piece of the sword pierces the heart of the officer. The poor girl couldn't escape. While saving Feng, she herself is killed. Seeing this, Feng's friend gets very angry. And now as soon as he goes to kill the officer, that's when the officer hits him hard and throws him away. The poor girl also dies. Feng's mom and businessman are also taken prisoner. And that's when the fighter comes here and starts killing the officer. Because of him, the fighter's dad died. Here the businessmen tell him to take the paper and run away quickly. But he doesn't want to take the paper, and runs away. The fighter fights the officer with great bravery, but he is killed by the officer. The next day the officer accused Feng's mom and businessman and decided to hang them. To see their hangings, all the people of the city gathered. And now Feng had no other way than to bring the papers in front of everyone. He goes to the place where the hangings were and tells that the officer stole a lot of money from the government treasury. Before this he did a lot of wrong things. Look, I have evidence against him. After hearing this, everyone starts to protest against the officer. The officer was very angry because if the king finds out about his theft, he will punish him for the hangings. So he tells his soldiers to attack the bed. But then the soldiers of the businessman also come here. And now a lot of fights break out between these two groups. On the other hand, Feng and the officer once again came face to face and started fighting. But this time Feng used his strength as well as his brain. As he pulls a rope, a big stick goes straight to the officer's chest, which injured him. Giving him a weak bandage, Feng hit him one after another. And in the end, the copper skin punch that hit him, he fell quite far, which made him unconscious. The soldiers outside also lost. That's why the king comes here with his entire army. Feng shows them the papers. And this proves that he had stolen the treasury. On which the king imprisons the officer for hanging. With this victory, everyone was very happy. The neighbor girl was standing very close to Feng and her neck was shaking. Which we understand that Feng also started liking him. And with this great story ends here.